Good evening and welcome to Netzach Yisrael's daily Kitzur Shulchan Aruch Shir. Tonight we're going to learn Siman Kuf Pei Hey, Hilchos She'ela Sechiros, the halachas of borrowing and hiring of oivos, even it contains 6 seifim. Seif Aleph. Hashayel or Asecha Behema Mitaltanim Mechavera, one who borrows or rents, hires an animal or any type of movable object from one's friend. One does not have permission to lend it out or to rent it out, to sublet them out to someone else without the owner's knowledge and permission. Even Sepharim, Jewish books, that there is a mitzvah to lend them out. We don't say that probably the owners would be happy for to do a mitzvah with his money. Because possibly the owner may not want his books to be in someone else's possession who he doesn't really trust. But if one borrows a book, he's allowed, or a sefer, he's allowed to allow someone to read it inside his own house. Providing only one person is using the book at one point, as opposed to 2 people reading it, for where it may get pulled and torn. If one knows that the owner regularly lends out, he trusts this other person, he lends out his things to them, such books, for example, then the one who is borrowed or the one who is rented is allowed to lend it on or sublet it, rent it out to this second person. Seif base. Mitzvah losses bismano. There is a mitzvah in the Torah to give the wages of one's worker on time. And if he delayed over B'leisasi, has transgressed an aver in the Torah. As it says in the Pasuk, on its day, meaning on that day, you must his wages should be given, and the sun should not set. Likewise, mitzvah there is a mitzvah to pay for the rent, the hire of an animal or any type of utensil on time. And if he delayed, then he has transgressed a negative mitzvah. The Torah on its day should be given his wage. And what qualifies as on time? If the work was finished by day, then he has all day to pay. And if the day has passed and he hasn't paid him, then he has transgressed on this mitzvah. And if he only completes the work after the day and it's already night time, then he's got the time of all night. And if the night passes and he hasn't paid in, then he transgresses, and you shouldn't leave over the wage of the worker with you until the morning. Likewise, someone who is working for you for a week or for a month or for a year, if he ends his malacha, his work by day, he's got that day to pay him. If he finishes his work at night, then he's got until the end of that night to pay him, but no longer. Seif Gimel. Likewise, if one gave one's clothing to a tailor to repair at an agreed price, and the tailor brought it to him on the day, then he's got to pay him on that day. If he brought him the garment back that the tailor had fixed at night time, then he's got to pay him on that night and no later. But so long as the garment is by the tailor, even though he's finished his work and he's finished what he needed to do, the one who sent it in, the owner of this garment, has not transgressed, even if the garment lies with the tailor for a few days, even if the tailor calls him up and tells him, I finished, and please can you pay me and take what's yours, we call Mukam in Ava, nonetheless he hasn't transgressed so long as the garments are still in the tailor's shop. Siv Talit. He's only transgressed this mitzvah, providing that the worker has asked him for his wages and he has money to pay him. But if he doesn't come to him, he doesn't present himself and ask for his wages, or he asks for his money but he doesn't have money to pay him, he doesn't transgress. Nonetheless, it is a pious thing to do to borrow the money if necessary, and in order to pay his workers on time. Because the worker is considered to be a poor person, and he's set his mind, he's set his heart on this money. And one who typically it's his way that he doesn't pay workers until after the final accounting. Even if he asks him for a small amount, that you can certainly do. Nonetheless, he hasn't transgressed. Because since the worker knew that that's the way, that he doesn't normally pay him straight away until after he's done all the accounts, then he hired himself out. He agreed to take the job on this knowledge. In other words, if they've made up an arrangement when they're going to pay, then he doesn't need to specifically pay that day. So a worker that does a job for a balabayas and he spoils it, even if he was negligent, but in a way that halachically he would actually be obligated to pay, to compensate the person who hired him. It's a mitzvah for the one who hired him to forego this and to deal with him in a case of lifnim mishor sadin. That means going above and beyond the strict letter of the law. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, "Laman telech b'derech tovim," in order that you should go in the good way. And if the worker is a poor person who doesn't have what to eat, then not only should you forgive him and forego claiming the damage that he's done, we should even pay him his wages for the time that he's been working for him. Shenemar, as it says, Aruch tzadikim tishmar, in the ways of the righteous you shall guard. And this is the way of tzadikim. Lishmar derech Hashem lasistokam mishpat lifnim mishrofadim, to guard the way of Hashem, to do what is right and just, going above and beyond the letter of the law. Sifal. In the same way that the one who hires other people is warned not to steal the wages of the poor, nor to delay paying him, likewise, the poor person or the worker is warned not to delay, not to take away from the work of the balabais. And he's obligated to work with all of his strength and abilities. We're talking here, for example, that he's paid per hour. Like Yaakov Avinu of blessed memory said, because with all my strength I worked for your father. Therefore, a worker who works by the hour does not have permission to do work at night and to rent himself out by day. Because he'll already have been weakened by working at night. Likewise, he doesn't have permission to use his animal for work at night and then to hire the animal out during the day. Nor does a worker have permission to starve himself or to stint himself, to feed himself very little, because he is weakening himself, and he will be unable to do the work that is of the balabais properly. So he's got to look after himself and eat properly. And And like we learned in Siman Kuf Samachay, the same halacha applies to teachers. Again, that they've got to look after themselves, make sure that they sleep and eat properly. Thank you for watching.